Here. Oh man. This one can go for a long time. It also could end really quickly. It really does depend on these early game draws and how they end up panning out.
It's a good mulligan for Savjz. Keep the Despite, put the other 3 back.
Oh boy, I don't really like Cole's hand.
Cole's hand is, yeah.
Are we having them backwards? Maybe Savjz is the hand that we don't like.
Looks like that is Cole's hand up top. Alright.
So he plays a Whirlwind. Is he the one who also played 2 Whirlwinds?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
The nice thing about the Warrior Mirror is that you don't really need a nice opening hand, you know, as long you have plenty of time to just hero power and pass. Not going to be any pressure or anything you have to really deal with for a while. And both players just throwing out shield blocks, taking their time with it. Harrison being picked up early from Savjz is a very big deal. Harrison's one of the best cards in the matchup if you draw it early. If you draw it late game, then a lot of times it doesn't make sense to play it because it'll make you fatigue just 1 turn sooner.
Right. And
at that point it's hurting more than it helps. But drawing it early is exactly when you want it. It even kills Sludge Belcher and stuff like that on curve.
Yeah, especially if you can disarm a Death Spite charge, so that way you can protect future drops like Shield Maiden. The damage done by Harrison plus the card advantage often is one of those really big swingy cards. You look at Black Knight, you look at Big Game Hunter, and Harrison Jones could definitely be up there with momentum swinging cards.
Absolutely. We're just going to see some more hero power and passing from Cole.
Yeah.
Nothing really proactive to drop there. Alright, Armor Smith gives Savjz something to do. He didn't really want to throw out Despite.
Right.
So definitely, it doesn't seem like an exciting draw, but it's better than nothing. Gives him a play. And no Despite from Cole. It's going to make that pretty tough to kill. Alright.
It's a Warrior Mirror, alright.
Yeah. Resident Sleeper. Well, Acolyte of Pain gets picked up. I guess he could drop that. Cycle a Whirlwind later on, but he doesn't actually have one yet. I wonder if he does play Whirlwind. We're starting to see at least one in most Warrior decks.
I think it's just a pretty good utility, generally speaking. Not only does it allow you to draw off the Acolyte and be able to do 1 damage, which is pretty annoying sometimes, especially if you're reaching for some of those 5 health minions. It also activates, you know, the Gromosh sometimes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Harrison, great draw here. It's going to, just like you mentioned, take out the Despite on 1 shard, which is going to protect the 5 health minions. It's very important in the Warrior Mirror. If you can force them to use Executes on your Shield Maidens and Shield Slams on your Sludge Belchers, that kind of stuff, it's definitely a big victory. So I think we're going to see an Execute Shield Maiden here, something like that. Maybe just a Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom would go down pretty easily, it looks like, but
it gets a lot of value if the Boombots have a creature to hit. You don't really want to drop it on an empty board as much.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I hear you.
Even if he did drop it on an empty board, he could... Like, it's very unlikely that Dr. Boom lives to attack anyway. Can die to Shield Slam, Execute, Big Game Hunter. He's going to have one of those cards in hand.
Yeah, I mean, this matchup oftentimes is just a removal fest. That's why armor stacks pretty highly for both players. And there are so many ways to deal with this. It depends on how Cole wants to line it up. Do you value any removal over another, whether it's Shield Slam or Executes in this matchup?
Depends on the board state, but usually Shield Slam is better because you're almost always going to have enough armor to enable it with Shield Maiden now. Execute's a little bit harder to get mileage out of, I'd say. So I guess it's a good chance we see a Whirlwind Execute here. The awkward thing about that is you'd have no other play.
Yeah, the mana. Alright, pretty reasonable bombs.
Yeah, not what Cole wanted to see. He was hoping to get lucky, have Harrison live there. Didn't pan out that way. I think we're definitely going to see an Execute, especially considering he has 2 of them and only 1 Shield Slam. And what he should do here is play a Fiery War Axe and attack. But I don't think he will.
Well, because he has 2 of them, right? So
yeah, well, a lot of players. Oh, he is doing it. Oh, I see. He's not attacking. Yeah, that's going to open him up to getting Harrison. It's just, you definitely want to just use War Axe to knock out 6 armor in the Warrior Mirror, especially if you have 2 weapons. Because there's basically no good targets to kill with it, right? You can kill Acolyte of Pain and you can kill Slime tokens, and that's about the best you're going to do with it. Cruel Taskmasters sometime.
Right, or it could be that final push where if you're trying to actually threaten to be aggressive, but it's rarely that case.
Yeah. Despite picked up. It's pretty good. Harrison's already been played, so Despite is going to be able to kill a 5 health minion.
It's true, but pretty decent mileage already. Wow, looks like Savjz was already hovering over another minion. Not really sure. I think the Acolyte of Pain behind the Sludge Belcher is exactly what he wants anyways, so he can keep drawing cards.
I mean, that is going to give him a card to draw after Cole kills Belcher, but I don't think that's that bad for Cole, even though it feels like he's getting 2 for 1 by Acolyte, because it's getting to the point where the player's going to have a very hard time killing each other. Like, giving Savjz an extra card might benefit Cole more than it hurts him.
For the fatigue match?
Exactly, because it's a very good chance it comes down to that at this point. I'm a big fan of just slamming Alexstrasza on curve. So what I would do here is attack the Belcher and then play Alexstrasza.
Alright, well, he is attacking and see what he evaluates afterwards. I think he also does have cute plays, like you can make your opponent overdraw as well with the cool Taskmaster, but it doesn't seem like it'd be a good follow-up anyways, unless you wanted to...
That is actually pretty good.
You think so? I always feel like overdrawing on opponents is highly overrated.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. In a Warrior Mirror, it's like at its best. But, see, I don't like this play. I would have definitely played Alexstrasza. It's not going to do anything better than deal 15 damage, so...
Which is pretty good still in its own.
Yeah.
Well, I think Savjz can take his own Shield Maiden and start loading up the board.
This is a case also where I would have executed instead.
As...
Save the Shield Slam.
Oh, okay, as Savjz.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, he does have a cool Taskmaster and Whirlwind, so those are 2 activators if he needs to. But I guess he can just evaluate based off of keeping it. Because Shield Slam, like you said, does scale pretty well into late game, but there are some times where you don't have the case. Like, for example, Cole wouldn't have a very strong Shield Slam against some of the bigger minions if he kept using his weapon.
Alright, Sludge Belcher comes down. It's going to go back to Savjz. It's always nice to play a Belcher when they don't have a Despite up. Savjz gets the first Alex down. That's pretty nice because you get the 9-mana card just out of your hand. Right. A lot of times if you fall too far behind, you don't have time to play it, which is why I'm a big fan of getting it out as soon as possible.
What's also wild is Savjz, just look at his card advantage, just sheer how many cards ahead he is.
Yeah.
He's got to put basically a full hand, and Cole's working at half the resource count.
I mean, if Savjz can leverage that into lethal damage before it comes down to fatigue, that will be an advantage for him, but...
Alright, if it stalls out, he actually will be taking a lot more damage.
Yeah. So this is the awkward thing now. Cole has a handful of big expensive creatures because that one turn, he decided not to play Alexstrasza. Had he played Alexstrasza that turn, he would have a Shield Maiden in his hand this turn instead, and he could develop a 5/5. So it was like a small decision that made his draw play out a lot more awkwardly than it needed to. It's going to be a great Baron Geddon here for Savjz. That's the best you can hope to get out of that card.
Yeah, not to mention it's again another threat on the board. It's a lot of damage, and I don't see an easy way to remove it. I still don't. That's still very expensive to pay that much life. Because now you're starting to get to the point where you're worried about how much health you have. You're going to be shredding the remains of your armor. Yikes!
Is he dead? Is that a Despite in play?
I think that's a cool Taskmaster.
What weapon does Savjz have? A War Axe?
Oh, I thought you were saying the last draw he had. Yeah, it's a Fiery War Axe, so he has 15 damage right now.
I think we're going to see an attack here and then just playing the Despite. That's what I would do.
With the Shield Maiden?
Yeah.
Would you not want to attack with the Deathspite so that way you can get... Oh, actually, you have a cool Taskmaster. Doesn't really matter. Yeah.
I can take the hit.
Yeah,
All right. Shield Maiden can take the hit. Savjz does go with that play. And this game looks very, very tough to win for Cole at this point. I don't see how he's going to come back from being this far behind. I mean, now he has to Alexstrasza himself. He's getting like half value out of it because it's only a 5 or a 6-point life swing instead of a 15.1.
Right. Unless he wants to go fishing for something else. And that's just very unguaranteed. So the only play at his disposal is to attack into the Shield Maiden.
The only thing he could draw off this is Shield Block, I think, to live.
shield block into shield block number 2.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
I mean,
That was the only card, I think, that would have kept him alive.
no,
If it even
still,
did.
isn't he dead still?
16? No, not quite. Savjz can deal. Or no.
He can do 16 this turn.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was a War Axe in play, but yeah, he just played the Dustbite.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't really matter. Like he needed shield block into a second shield block.
Yeah, but he already played
He
one.
already
on turn
played
3.
one. There's no way for him to survive unless he was able to gain 1 more HP.